We are here at Forum Würth Arlesheim. This is an exhibition space that is on the outskirts of Basel. You can easily reach us with the tramway or the train in approximately 20 to 30 minutes. And if it's a beautiful day, it's highly recommended to take the bicycle to just like cycle along the river Biers. And at the end, you even get close to the nature protected site and can begin your journey here in our exhibition. We are one of the museums and associated galleries of the Würth Group from 15 that are in 9 European countries that range from Norway to Spain and Switzerland. And in Switzerland we have 3 art galleries, Arlesheim, where we are today, and Rorschach, that is close to the Bodensee, and Chur, that is close to the mountains in the canton Graubünden. All the exhibitions are free of admission, so you can come not only one time but several times to experience an exhibition, to dive into a show. And alongside the exhibition, we also realize some cultural events that are open not only to the employees but also to the public, because the Forum Würth Arlesheim is situated at the headquarters of Würth AG, so business, culture and art coexist. And this is also, art and culture are important to the Würth Group for a long time already, and this is also an expression of the vivid corporate culture, and Forum Würth Arlesheim is one of those examples where you can encounter art in that context. We realize exhibitions with work from the Würth Collection. In total, the Würth Collection comprises 20,000 pieces of artwork that bridge basically 500 years of history of art, ranging from the late Middle Age up to the beginning of the 21st century. And at the moment we are able to showcase Christopher Lehmpfuhl's work, and that we could realize this exhibition with mainly pieces of the Würth Collection. We have to thank Professor Reinhold Würth, which is the entrepreneur and collector behind the Würth Collection, that in approximately 60 years of passionate collecting alongside his successful entrepreneurship put together that beautiful collection, and around 80 works from Christopher Lehmpfuhl. Here in Arlesheim we choose 35 artworks from the Würth Collection and enriched them and complemented them with loans from the artist's own studio. It's a monographic exhibition that is thematically hung, so you can travel with Christopher Lehmpfuhl through his home city, Berlin, because he was born in 1972 in Berlin, and you can travel alongside him then around the world, because he did some painting trips to the USA, to Iceland, to India, to just name some of them. We are here standing in the middle of the cycle Berlin Schlosspatz im Wandel, and the complete second floor is dedicated to the home city of the artist, Berlin. And this cycle is a very important cycle or series of work, because he was driving across Berlin and he came about that Schlosspatz where the DDR Palast der Republik was just deconstructed, and there were only still the staircases standing, and he was taken by that image and chose to do one painting, and in the end there became over 130 paintings. So over the years he got back to that place and really captured that urban transformation process within his canvases. We have within the exhibition also some objects of work that the artist lent to us. You will see within the Berlin space a bicycle. It's the possibility to tell the beautiful story how he came about to become a plein air painter, because Christopher Lehmpfuhl paints in the tradition of the Impressionists outside, plein air. No matter the weather, if it's windy or sunny, he takes his canvas, his painting material, and goes outside and faces the weather situation that he encounters. And It came about because during his study at the Hochschule der Künste, HGK in Berlin, one of his co-students was working with turpentine, and it really smelled strongly, and he got some headache and decided on a short notice to take his bike and go outside. And somehow this process really spoke to him, and he built up on that and continued to do plein air paintings. And in the beginning it was only small formats, because he had a little wine box that he put on the back of his bicycle. So he put afterwards the paintings inside, because oil paint takes a really long time to dry, in order to not damage them while going back to the studio with the painted paintings. And afterwards, you just see it behind me, the scale and format of the paintings became much bigger, because his transportation possibilities also grew. He now has a sprinter, which is a little bus, and the format of those canvases is 180 to 240 meters, and it's exactly the space that he has inside his little bus to be able to transport the canvases that are freshly painted in order to not damage them. And if he feels like the situation that he wants to capture, the motive that he wants to ban on the canvas is not is bigger than the canvas itself, he just chooses to take different several canvases to do put two of them together to extend the possibility of the image that he wants to transfer. He is a master in capturing the essence of a place, the light of a summery, wintry day, and to transmit them through his paintings. And he instills in the viewer an emotion. He basically narrates a situation in which he just was, and what captured him, and what he wanted to let speak through his canvases to the viewer. Regarding Christopher Lehmpfuhl's technique and painting, so he paints plein air outside, which means like he has to carry these big canvases to a place that he's chosen where he wants to paint, but also like the buckets of color that are really heavy. And he applies the color by hand directly onto the canvas. So you will see that it's nearly a bit sculptural. Relief thoughts come up because he applies kilos of oil paint, and the canvases become also heavy due to that. But it's really, when you're close up, it feels like a very abstract painting. Maybe you don't really recognize what should be shown. And when you then take some distance and choose to give some air between yourself and the painting, you see then all the motifs, the building, the cranes, the cars moving on the streets, and that will be visible to you once you have some distance. So this play with abstract and figurative is really feelable, or you can really feel it in this exhibition. It's also hung in a way that you have the possibility to move around the works in that way, that you're not forced to be close all the time, or in distance all the time, because this is something that is a beautiful experience. We also have a very personal cycle or series of works within this exhibition. It's a loan from Christopher Lehmpfuhl. We show 13 paintings from Neue, Heimat, and this is an homage that he realized due to the fact that his mother and father passed away really closely one after another. And he says himself that it's somehow his grieving process, that he started then painting from the photographs of his father, because his mother was a pianist, his father was a physicist, but a passionate photographer, so art and culture also played some role in his family at home. And when his parents passed away, he came about those photo books, which he kindly also lent us one for this exhibition. And he wanted to paint those photographs. And this work is very special, not only because of the narrative behind it, but also in the way that he worked, because he chose to paint those paintings in the atelier. so in his studio, on the basis of those photographs, and he chose to paint them with a brush, so he distanced himself also from the canvas, and the color palette is mainly just black and white. And in our show we show 13 of those artworks out of a bigger series, and it's a beautiful poetic piece of work where you can see the family being in Japan, or you can see him and his sister together in Greece, the mother playing piano, the father in the laboratory. So you have all these different very personal insights into his life in this series. As I also mentioned, so mainly the exhibition showcases big scale oil paintings, but we also have a few paintings that are watercolors. Many artists chose to do watercolors when they travel, so this is many artists prefer this technique because it's like easy to take it with you. And he says that he chose the watercolors also especially due to the technique, because it's so contrary to the oil paint. So in the oil paint he is painting big formats, he applies a lot of color, and you also have like the element of working from the back to the front, like applying like different layers of paint onto the canvas. And in the watercolor, he says it's kind of the empress discipline, because once you apply the color, once a page is dark, there is no room for correction. And we have some beautiful India paintings in watercolor, where you can see how he also mastered very skillfully, is able to capture those moments that really speak to him, that he encountered on his trip onto the paper. The exhibition at Forum Würth Arlesheim comprises 35 artworks from the Würth Collection, enriched with some loans from the artist's own studio. And when you walk up the staircase, you already encounter the first time the artist in the photographs of Florian Selig. You can see there how the artist is standing on top of a mountain in front of his canvas with buckets of color. And we have like 2 floors in our exhibition space, and when you come to the second floor there is a little film studio in which you have 3 documentary movies from Sebastian Schrade, who accompanied Christopher Lehmpfuhl not only in his home city in Berlin, but also in Helgoland and Iceland. And it's the beautiful opportunity for a visitor to hear the artist speak himself about his work, and to travel with him on those painting trips and see him work and in his element. The exhibition space was designed by Urs Bütikow, a Basel-based architect. We opened our doors in 2003, so we have our 20th jubilee this year, and it's a half elliptical space that is open over the 2 floors. So it also is possible to see the artworks from the second floor that are on the low floor, or part of them, and that way it creates a beautiful dialogue between the different spaces.